Politico has put out a new poll along with Morning Consult indicating that the vast majority of Americans actually think the country is headed in the wrong direction. So only a quarter of voters said that the country is headed in the right direction, while 75% said things are pretty seriously or had pretty seriously gotten off on the wrong track, a record high for the Trump presidency. The 50-point gap also represents, according to Politico, the largest gulf since Trump took office in 2017. And just to give you an idea of where Trump's approval rating is at, he's at 39% approval, with 59% of voters disapproving of the job that he's done so far. There are more numbers, but Cenk, now is a good time to gloat because I know you want to.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I'll take the mic. So first off, there is no incumbent on planet Earth winning an election down by 20 points in their approval ratings, 20 points underwater 4 months before an election. It would take several miracles for any candidate in that position to win. So I know this is heresy, you're not supposed to say it, because the establishment is wrong in both elections. In 2016, I said, buckle up, brace for impact, Trump can win. They're like, no, don't be ridiculous. We all agree that Hillary is the only person who can win. She's so great. Oh, he thinks Trump can win, right? Now they're doing the opposite mistake. Oh my God, he's down by 20, but I bet he magically wins because numbers aren't real. No, 59 to 39 approval ratings 4 months before an election. You're a goner, an absolute goner. So a meteor would have to hit. And so I don't care if you think I'm jinxing it. That's not how science and math and numbers work, okay? So, and part of the reason I tell you that is, one, most importantly, because it's true and you should know things that are true. The second is over panicking also leads to wrong results. Right? Oh my God, we gotta pick, like, this already happened, but we gotta pick the most safe candidate, the one that's the most Republican to beat Donald Trump. Oh, for God's sake. All right, anyway, that mistake is gone, it's already been made. But there are others that come if you're going from the wrong set of assumptions. Guys, only a quarter of the country thinks we're headed in the right direction 4 months before an election. 75% of the country thinks we're headed in the wrong direction. Gone. No person in that situation has a chance of winning. So if it was the day before an election, I would tell you, I'll bet anything on planet Earth that he loses, right? The only thing is there's 4 months left, but 75-25 is unrecoverable. And by the way, Donald Trump said that we would get tired of winning. Are we tired of winning yet?
I mean, everything has been such a disaster. And by the way, I mean, I think he's realizing, based on how respondents in this study perceive coronavirus and how serious it really is, you are noticing a little bit of a difference in his tone and a change in messaging coming from his advisors. For instance, when it comes to masks, Kellyanne Conway just said that, quote, people are not wearing masks, and I don't think they're not wearing masks because the president of the United States is not wearing a mask. They're not wearing a mask because nobody's saying put the mask on, like Donald Trump, who does not encourage people to wear masks. Like,
that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You need the leader of the country to say, for God's sake, put a mask on, right? And he won't do it. And so Kellyanne Conway, you just made argument for us. So look, why is he spiraling out of control? Already he had very little chance of winning. Already he was massively unpopular. So look, presidents normally fluctuate. They might dip a little bit under 50% approval ratings. They'll be above 50%. It'll go back and forth. Sometimes if things are going great, 60, 65%, right? The guy's gone above 50% maybe once or twice in his entire presidency. He's been underwater the whole time. 42% is a terrible number. He would brag about when he got up to 42%. So this guy didn't have much of a chance of winning in the first place, and now it's a debacle. Why? The country, 2/3 of the country is saying you handled George Floyd and the protests wrong. You're over the top racist. And 2/3 is a giant number when you're trying to get 50% of the country to vote for you, right? And so what does he do now? He called Black Lives Matter a symbol of hate. He said that if they're gonna paint Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower, that it's, quote, denigrating this luxury avenue. Just saying that Black Lives Matter denigrates the luxury of the avenue in front of his building, okay? He is over the top racist. And finally, it has gotten through to 2/3 of Americans who apparently are uncomfortable with it. Now on the coronavirus, you can't hide the fact that we lead the world in deaths. Forget the number of cases. We lead the world in deaths by a lot, okay? So we have 4% of the world's population. We have 25% of the world's coronavirus deaths. And Anna, in reality, we're seeing a lot of people without masks. It's true, and that's actually not even the latest numbers. Now we're above 130,000 dead. That is, remember when he was bragging, it's only going to be 60,000 dead. Only 60,000 dead, but it turns out, of course, he was wrong. And we're at 130,000, and we're still peaking. We're not anywhere near a decline. So, all right. But in the last week, there's a really interesting poll. 89% of Americans said they wore a mask at some point. So 89% of Americans realized if it's bad, I really should wear a mask at a minimum, because the doctors are probably not lying, right? And he's going hard at that 11% who are stupid enough to listen to him. You do not win elections with 11%. That's not how it works. He's a moron of epic proportions, and if he doesn't drop out in humiliating fashion, and he actually goes through and is the candidate in this election, he will get landslided. He'll get absolutely destroyed, and he will be known as a loser forever and ever.
When you sign up for a spend and save account at aspiration.com/TYT, we will plant 10 trees. Let's save the planet together.